So, do you know the damage social media does to you and your brain? And have you questioned why empathy is the most important and needed tool of today? Well, stick around because for today's video, we're talking about why we need empathy more than ever.
I don't claim to be the creator, but I'm a savior. I take the strange variables of human life and make something out of the crazy quilt.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Alex Doerflinger. I hope you're all having a beautiful, amazing, wonderful, fantastic day. And also, quick update is I was sick Wednesday, and honestly, I'm just gonna try posting videos on Friday because it's just a lot easier. So we're just stick to Positivity Fridays. And today we're talking why empathy is important. So a lot of millennials, Gen Z, and now even the newer generation, Gen Alpha, all have access to the internet, whereas previous generations before them, they didn't have access to the internet and what it is today due to everything that has happened. But a lot of us use social media. A lot of Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alpha now are joining social media, and so it causes us to have irregular dopamine, and so we get basically random hits of dopamine anytime a notification goes off on our phones, and that's why we touch our phones a lot. But the thing is that a lot of people who jump on social media just get this false idolization or whatever. They follow someone and then they're like, oh, I want to be that person, and you fall into this trap of comparison. And honestly, that causes us to have lower self-esteem in general. And a lot of us struggle with confidence or just believing in ourselves because we're idolizing these people who show filters or just living a good life, but you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And for that matter of fact, what they do off screen. There's a lot of people who do things that you probably don't know, and they're probably not living their best life. So honestly, once you just start focusing on yourself and just believing yourself and having more empathy for other people, that will be the ultimate change, because we need a change in the business and just general world in general, because we lack empathy. See, as human beings, we are naturally wired to be social, and there's nothing wrong with interacting with people online, having friends who live in other places. It's cool that we can do that, but you gotta just hop off the phone and interact with people in real life, not just through your phone and being on your phone all the time, because A, is rude and you don't feel important when someone else is on their phone, and B, treat others how you want to be treated. The golden rule still stands, and honestly, how you treat other people is how they're going to treat you. And so honestly, we need that social interaction, because a lot of times we can put on a mask and curate ourselves to whatever on social media, like I said, but also just that damages us ourselves, because we're lying to people who don't even truly know us. And so when you can have a best buddy or someone you can just talk to about your problems and just get it off, is really important. See, empathy is just taking on the perspective of someone else and how they feel and putting yourself in their shoes. And so a lot of that comes with just the growth mindset, being open-minded, and just saying, oh, okay, this happened to them, this is how they feel. And a lot of businesses today don't do that, and that's why a lot of people do not like having a typical job, because it seems like the employees or the bosses or whatever don't really care about you. And so in a world where there's a lot of hate, we need a lot more empathy in the world, and just showing, hey, some people do need that empathy. I'm not saying everyone deserves it, but there are people who actually genuinely need empathy, and that that could be life-changing to someone if you just show them a little bit of help, a little bit of positivity, and just spread that out more. See, we've lost the ability to be patient and delay instant gratification, but also just the fact that sometimes what's instant isn't always good, because we've learned that a lot of times people who just like make it instantly like that, just from something stupid or whatever, they don't last very long. And so that's why it's important to build a skill set. And plus, on top of that, think about it this way: if you're running a business, people, so there's a story I heard from Simon's something, I don't remember his last name, he's on YouTube, but he talks about how he goes to these two hotels, right? One's the Caesar Hotel and the other one's this like Four Seasons Hotel. And so he's worked at both of them, and he's like, so what's the difference between working at the Caesar Palace versus the Four Seasons? And he goes, well, the management here at the Four Seasons asks, hey, is there anything you need to help you make your job more easier? And so that makes you feel important and heard. Whereas the Caesar Palace have just okay management, and they're always like catching you on every little mistake. It feels tiring when you have someone always bearing over you. And so honestly, when you have empathy, you're able to bring the people around you up and yourself. And when you do good, or when someone else in your team does good, everyone else succeeds too. So everyone wins. And plus, it just feels good to be giving sometimes. You just have to be a shoulder to lean on from time to time, because sometimes some people need that. Also, back to the whole nothing comes good from instantaneous. Think about a plant or a tree, for example. The seedling first is planted in the ground, in darkness, and is absorbing the nutrients, building roots, and then it starts coming out of the ground. And think of that like a building, for instance. No good building can stand without a good foundation. So if you don't have a sturdy foundation, the rest of the thing will collapse. And so that's the same way with empathy, or just in success in general. Is it takes time, but it is definitely a skill more people should be doing and using, because a lot of times all of us are in our own worlds, but we don't know what people are truly going through. And so just showing a little bit of care towards other people, whether it's just like giving $5 to someone, like a homeless person, and just do it because it feels good, and just like you're doing something nice. You don't need to worry about what they're going to do with it, because you can't control that. But if you have a little bit extra money to spare, or just go to like a volunteer place, do something to help people, because it is just life-changing if you could just do that. Also, just learn to be accepting, open-minded, and be a bit vulnerable. And when I mean be vulnerable, I don't mean expose every little dark, deep secret of yourself. No, but if you give something that is vulnerable, like you have to open up about to someone, even if it's just a little bit, they're more likely to tell you something too. And that's how you build more deeper, meaningful connections, just by like being a bit vulnerable to being open about something about yourself. Also, I think it's just really powerful, the fact that you can gain different perspectives from other people and see how they view things can really broaden your knowledge and your perspective of the world, because how you view the world and how you see it is just like how you feel. And so when you can get more perspective, you get a bigger understanding of the world you live in and the people around you as well. And so it's really cool when you can like go to a different country and experience a whole different culture or a whole different foods, and find out like how that they live, or how they interact, how they do things. And it'd be crazy even if you just like, if you're in America or anywhere, if you go to talk to people, it is so interesting the different like ideas and perspectives you can get in life and how people view things. Another thing to think about is like, say you're having a bad day, right? You're running late and someone cuts you off on the freeway. That's gonna make you mad. And so sometimes when you are the person in the car cutting someone off, they could be having a bad day. So understanding sometimes like, hey, we're human, we want to feel heard, we have emotions, and so sometimes just be like, okay, you know what, this person is having a rough day or whatever, and then just do small little deed that'll make you feel better, and it might make them feel better. But what comes around goes around, so whatever you put out in the universe, you get right back. Also, Simon, I forget his last name, sorry, but he talked about how there's two kinds of players, right? There's finite players and then there's infinite players. And finite players honestly just strive for one thing, from point A to point B, which is to just win. That's the only goal. So more numbers, all that stuff, statistics, that matters to them. Whereas the infinite player, the game doesn't have a set rules, they always change, and they're always just striving to be better than who they were the day before, and just honestly focusing on themselves and the outcome, and then building from the mistakes. So that way the game has changed and the rules have changed, and so you have to learn a different way how to play it each time. Also, finite has a set rules, set amount of games. So for example, like baseball is a finite game, but an infinite game has known and unknown players with unknown rules to the game, so it changes each time. And also, when you pit in finite against finite player, the system is stable. When you pit an infinite player with an infinite player, the system is stable. But when you pit a finite player against an infinite player, it clash. And because finite player has set rules, they believe that it has to be this way, a certain way, and that's how it's always been, and you can't change that. Or you can be the infinite player who doesn't think that there's just one right way to do it, but there's multiple right ways. And so when you just try to see from different people's perspectives, you can do things differently with twist, and because you learn something new. So a lot of times experience is really important, but also having that empathy and just being able to socialize with people is just as equally important. Also, the infinite player is always looking to improve themselves, and they're not really looking to be the best or be on top. They're just looking to improve themselves and improve their lives to the point where they can enjoy it. If you got this far in the video, I just want to say thank you for your love and support. If you like this video, make sure to press that like button and send this to people who you think can benefit from this video. And if you found this video enjoyable and want to see more videos like this, just hit the subscribe button. And that's all I have for you. So stay legendary, stay beautiful. I'll see you in the next video.